Hello, I hope you're well. Welcome or welcome back to my channel and Happy New Year. Today's video is all about my 2021 reading goals. I am a very goal-oriented person. I'm the sort of individual that has 1-year goals, 5-year goals, and 10-year goals, and I am pretty dogged in my pursuit of them to the point of being anal and slightly myopic. When I started this channel, I was really just kind of mood reading my way through 2020, but I thought it would be really nice to have goals to aspire to for my reading life. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And yes, it might be a little late to still have all of this stuff going on in the background, but Christmas is my jam, and we are going to milk it for as long as possible. The first of the goals that I have for myself is based on the Goodreads reading challenge for 2021. In 2020, I set a goal for myself to read 50 books, and I pretty handedly beat that goal. So I want to up it a little bit to challenge myself for 2021, and I'm aiming to read 75 books. I don't personally DNF books all that often, but I think to challenge myself further, I would really like to only count the books that I read from beginning to end. The next goal has to do with nonfiction reads. So I want to challenge myself to read more nonfiction than I did this year. I think in total I read 16 works of nonfiction, which works out to like something around 25% of the books I read for the year. I would love to up that just a smidge to 30% for 2021, which I think is around 23 books. You know that I love nonfiction, so I don't think that this goal will be particularly challenging because there are so many works of nonfiction out there that appeal to me. So I think this will be a fun one. So my next goal is to read the entire Outlander series. I love Outlander. I just have not read all of the books. Actually, I have embarrassingly only gotten to partway through book 2, I believe. Partly because I knew what was happening and I was just not emotionally prepared to be destroyed in that way at the time. And so I stopped before I had to even worry about getting to that point in the book. And that is really embarrassing because I have seen every episode of the TV show. Jamie Fraser is my book boyfriend. Funny story about that. When I visited Scotland and went to Inverness to have a kilt made for myself, and I was getting fitted and measured and all of that for my very own demi-kilt, in walks a young man who is picking up his kilt, and they ask for his name, and I kid you not, he says Jamie Fraser, and my head whipped around so fast that I'm surprised I did not have whiplash. But anyway, as far as the Outlander series goes, I love Scotland. I've said it in other videos, Scotland is my soul country. It's the country that I feel most kinship with. And if this pandemic had not happened, I would have been there again over the summer. So this will have to do for now as far as giving me my Scottish fix. And I just really want to read it in time to read book 9, I think, which is supposed to be coming out at some point in 2021, I think. Do not quote me on that. But yeah, this book has been so transformational, so important to me. It was the reason I planned my trip to Scotland years ago. It was the reason I went to Inverness. It is the reason that I discovered this country that has such an important place in my heart. So I really need to finish it because I don't feel like I can say I'm an Outlander fan until I have. My next goal is to finish a book that I actually started in 2020. Let me grab it. and that is Hannah Arendt's The Origins of Totalitarianism. I started reading this at the beginning of 2020 and got about a third of the way in, page 168 in the section on imperialism. Then the pandemic hit, and this really dense political philosophy book just became a little bit too much to handle given the particular climate of the pandemic and all the stresses of that, and then the election, which I feel like has been in my life for the last 100 years. So I haven't actually resumed reading it, but this is one that I really want to challenge myself to read. This is a very intimidating book, I have to say. I'm not easily intimidated by books, but this one scares me a little bit. Not gonna lie. The next goal for myself in 2021 is to read more women in translation. I discovered Women in Translation Month, which is August, this past year in 2020. I had never heard of it before, but it was eye-opening. It really showed me the disparity in translated works written by women. I think the statistics show that it's like something ridiculous, like 30% of the books translated into English are actually written by women. I really want to make a concerted effort to read more books written by women that have been translated into English, and to do that over the course of the entire year, not just in the particular month, Women in Translation. I haven't set a number that I want to hit for this one. I really just want to make sure that I am conscious of it and have something to kind of set my sights on. Kind of in a similar vein, I want to participate in the 2021 Reading Women Challenge, which again was something I only discovered this past year. Noelle at Noelle 7 Pages was actually the one who mentioned it multiple times in her own videos, and I was just like, how did I not know about this? I predominantly read books written by women and about women. Like, that is a large chunk of my bookshelf. So this seemed like this challenge would be meant to be. And I love what Reading Women does. I love this idea of reclaiming half the bookshelf, and I love that this year's challenge is really focusing on international women, and as they have in previous years, they have 24 really interesting prompts. I'll put their little reading challenge card on the screen for you, and I would love to cross off as many of these as humanly possible in 2021. I think it will be so fascinating, and I also just think that it will help me to discover new authors, new voices, and new cultures. So it should be really, really fun. Kind of leads into my next goal, which is to read more diversely. When I started this channel, I brought up the fact that Black Lives Matter over the summer really made me take stock of my own habits, and I was embarrassed by how white my bookshelves were, and how cisgender, and how heteronormative. For me, it's really important to continue to read more diversely. Empathy is so important, and one of the ways that you can learn to empathize is through reading and being exposed to different perspectives of different individuals, whether they are BIPOC or LGBTQ or from a different religion or neurodiverse, whatever the case may be. So I really do want to continue to push myself to read more diversely in 2021. I know that just from the summer, I have already been making what I feel like are decent strides in my reading, but I certainly know I can do more and want to do more, especially as a white passing woman of color myself. Those are the reading specific goals. Now I kind of have a little miscellaneous section, which I promise won't take too long. The first is really about my book buying habits. I do want to make sure that I am supporting independent bookstores, which I know are struggling thanks to the pandemic. I don't really have that many independent bookstores in my area, but I do want to support them, even if it's through something like buying my books off bookshop.org. Rather than Amazon. Basically, I don't want to buy books off Amazon. Then there are my sort of channel goals for myself. I started this channel towards the end of July, which means I'm coming up close to 6 months on BookTube, and it has really been such a fun experience. I've made friends, I'm learning so much, and I can't thank all of you who are following my channels and watching my videos enough. It means the world to me. One of the things that I want to experiment with in 2021 is that I would really love to start making 2 videos a week rather than the one that I have been doing. I have so many ideas for videos and it's impossible to fit them all into a schedule when you have only 4 videos in a month. I have really wild hours with work, and work can be insane, but I do want to try my best to at least see what it would be like to produce and upload twice a week versus 1. My other BookTube related goal would be that I really want to take part in more readathons, more read-alongs, and more buddy reads in 2021. I find them really fun. I've done 1 buddy read so far. I've taken part in multiple readathons. I'm currently participating in 2 readathons, so it would just be a lot of fun to get to know more people in the bookish community by taking part in those initiatives and having those challenges, basically. Those are my goals for 2021 as they pertain to my reading and this channel. If you have any goals for 2021, be sure to leave them in the comments because I would love to hear about them. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you aren't already, and I'll see you next time. Bye!